Okay.
My name is Abina Johnson, and this is Focus on Liberia. Hit it! From Cape Mount to Cape Palmer, mountain back to Atlantic Ocean, Obomi Hills to Pokondre, to educate, elevate, and promote. Talk about home affairs, in diaspora, current affairs, reliable information, history, talking about culture, politics, education, entertainment, business, sports, advertisement, articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. From Monday to Sunday.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of OnPoint. If it's Sunday, 4 o'clock, it is OnPoint. Obviously, it's politics, and more politics. As we always say, there are three words in Liberia, and they are politics, and politics. Elections are over. What are the messages? What are the hidden messages? You know, in politics, they say words are not only what you look at body languages. We are looking at what was said in the elections. We are trying to say, were these people or politicians? Are they people of integrity? When they say something, do they mean it? When you look at the polls in the United States, the ranking of career, the worst career in these United States, right behind used car salesmen, are politicians. Politicians are next to what we call used car salesmen and women. So today we are back, but for us to preface what we are doing, we want to say a prayer for our brothers and sisters in Sierra Leone for what's happening there. For those of us who have been in a war situation, who have been in civil crisis, this brings back flashback. And we're going to talk about it with our able-bodied men who will be discussing the issues in Sierra Leone. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get going. Let me introduce our panelists, our intelligent crack team here. We can go against any team, totally any team on the internet, on our intelligence, our research, our ability to analyze fairly and squarely. There are some of us here who have taken a stand and stood by our stand and defended it. There is nobody here neutral. We don't allow anybody who is neutral on here. You're either an analyst or you are for the Unity Party or for the CBC or for the ANC or the CPP. There is nobody waffling here. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce my co-partner here, panelist, my co-host, Mr. Michael Padmore. Are you doing this, sir, from the 10,000 Lakes?
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much. It's great to be here. It's a little chilly in Minnesota today, but I'm glad I'm here. And hopefully we're going to get things heated up. Thank you so much.
Great. Mr. Jimmy Eastman, our analyst here, somebody who is always fair, torso and torso. I don't call him analyst, I call him torso and torso. Mr. Jimmy Eastman from our nation's capital. How you doing, sir?
Hey, thanks, and thanks for being here with you guys. It's always a privilege. You said talk so talk so. My wife likes to bug me. She says why I don't like to be emphatic. I told her I like a balanced approach. So she said people don't listen to it.
Oh, they do.
But anyway, it's always good to be here.
Thank you. Mr. Aliyo Kamara, he's still glowing in his victory. He's still making the victory lap. The last time he could hardly stand up. I guess he was tired. Mr. Aliyo Kamara, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, you panelists. I'm grateful to be a friend of the network.
Well, great. A friend of the network. Great way to look at it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's look at the topics here. But please do us a favor. Let's share the show in our chat rooms with our organizations, our fraternities, our sororities. And we want to make this interactive. You can call in and make your comments. We will read your comments. We will recognize people who have joined us so we can have a robust discussion. Remember, where there is no discussion, where there's no freedom of thought, people fight, and we don't want to fight. Let me welcome Mr. Atawi Ado from the nation's capital. Also, Mr. Ado, welcome.
Thank you so much. I am happy to join you and the rest of the panelists.
Great. Today on here, we are going to be discussing on issues, obviously current event. We'll be talking about the transition. There's something rare and nice in Liberia. We're going to be talking about transition. The race to the speakership of the House has become very important. The incident at the UP headquarters, very important issues. And then we're going to be talking about what's happening across the border, the national security implication. What is happening there? To me, if Joseph Walker is coming in as president of Liberia, the worst thing he wants is another distraction or a catastrophe that will distract him from the real issue for which he came to power, which is to stabilize the economy, create jobs, and all of those things. And we do not want this to spill over into our country. We know when they are in our local parliament, when they are chasing road, when the road going to somebody's house, we go in the house and grab that road. That's exactly what happened. If the rebels are running into Liberia or Guinea, you know the several national forces are going to go after them. We don't want that to happen. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Share this show. We'll have you calling to actually talk about issues that are very germane to you and to us. They say things get spoiled from the very beginning. So we want to look at this transition. What do people say in Liberia? If the Christmas is going to be good, you should know it on the eve. So let's look at the eve of this new incoming government here. Mr. Eastman, I'll start with you. You are, from today's date, whether your wife likes it or not, you are the official torso and torso. Everybody hates you, but everybody loves you at the same time. When you're talking for them, they love you. When you switch, they hate you. But when you come back, they love you. So you are in the best spot. Talk to me about the transition. What do you see?
Yeah.
We are in defeat now. He is the darling of the world. The whole world is calling and praising him. Did he show class in what just happened in Liberia?
Okay, thank you. Without a doubt, WEA has scored some heavy points by graciously accepting the loss and conceding with a congratulatory phone call. These are tenements of a good statesman, a fair and just person. So he is going down now as a very fair person, and it will open up further opportunities for him internationally. So it's just the beginning of his aftermath of the presidency. But with every one of us are individuals. We all have unique skills and abilities and challenges. Likewise, so do various administrations. The challenges that this new administration will face will not be the same as the past. There will be some very unique things, very unique differences. So the fact that we have some skirmish going on across the border that may lead to a coup d'état and an influx of refugees. Well, these are the sort of things that we expect to happen in any time you take on state leadership. You have to be prepared for the unknown. We also know that there there's been going to be some challenges financially, and how they're going to handle it is going to make to see if they are actually economic athletes, know how to resolve issues in such a unique way, because the challenges to our nation it's been going on for a long time, and now we might be able to talk a good talk, but now we have to walk the walk, because when it's one thing to talk about it and criticize, it's one thing to be in it and have to do it. And unique to this new administration is the participation of Prince Johnson. Prince Johnson, if like him or don't like him, it is apparent that he's a kingmaker. His vote for Ellen Johnson won her the seat. His support for Ambassador Weah at the time won him the seat. And subsequently, his support for Joseph Boakai has won him the seat. So he has proven that he is a force to reckon with. And so now, in victory, he's going to come. He's going to want to make demands on his support, which is to be expected. So how will that develop? How will that ramify itself? What will be the ramification of MDR UP administration? All this is going to be unique to the situation. So I think we have a lot to look forward to. Like I said, nothing is like the last one. Everyone is very unique, and we have their unique um, challenges to meet.
Great. Mr. Aliu Kamara, we are talking about Liberia now being, for the past 6 years, the UP and the opposition have demonized the Republic of Liberia in the eyes of everybody. And Liberia was a no-go zone. People were dying. Liberia is not a place to go. They demonized our country for 6 years, according to even the coastal man. He said, for 6 years, what we did to this man, and he still stands. Now, all of a sudden, Mr. Kamara, we are getting commendation from around the world about the classicness of President Weah and this outgoing administration. Your take?
First of all, let me just say congratulations to the people of Liberia for conducting themselves in a relatively peaceful manner. We know they will lead to things up and down, but even in a home, husbands and wives have to, fight at least every so often. So people do that, but generally the election was peaceful, it was fair. But I don't know whether I should give so much credit to George Weah. I think the whole thing is being overrated, in my opinion. It's like I have to cook in order for me to eat. And then I cook. I mean, I'm looking for a compliment because I cook, even though it's my own food. So the election rules are simple. When you lose, you accept and you make way for the other person. That's the only thing that happened here. I did not expect anything else. When George Weah won the election in 2017, The Unity Party made way, and George Weah came in. That is the way it works. You know, when people say, "Oh, George Weah this, George Weah, compliment, he did a great thing," it's like, we have all this zogorization under the George Weah administration. The ghettos have increased more than 20,000 ghettos just within the vicinity of Moserado County. Drugs all over the place. People are being stabbed daily. Motorcycle riders are very careful at night. They have to walk with weapon machetes and stuff to protect themselves. There's no rule of law, nothing of that sort. But because a man who was expected to lose anyway loses and accepts the laws, and then I should be here like kumbaya. He lost. He knows he lost, so he leaves. That's the whole thing. But regarding the Sierra Leone thing, I think chicken normally will come home to roost.
We have not gotten there yet. We have not gotten, I know you want to go. We have not gotten there yet. I know you want to go. It's all right. Mr. Padmore, it looks like the Unity Partisans are still in the attack mode. They are still in denial. I have never seen for my lifetime to see the winners angry and attacking everybody. The whole world is praising Liberia for what's happening, and they're thanking President Weah, and this man is saying it's nothing, it's overrated. In fact, this is what happens everywhere. Talk to me, Mr. Padmore.
So the first thing we have to do is that we have to put this into context. Okay? The first thing it was a very close race. We're talking about less than 20,000. Any president, including myself, I would have asked for a recount. I wasn't going to accept that vote. And let's be honest here. If this was United Party, they were going to cheat. Why do we act like we don't know United Party? 2011, they cheated. We all know they cheated. They were going to cheat. If it was this close, United Party were going to cheat. Okay? They accused President Weah of cheating. They threatened to bring fire down on the country. Joseph Parker said the country will end if he doesn't win. In the midst of all those things, I hear somebody saying, "Oh, well, according to NEC rules, if you lose, you're supposed to do this. There's nowhere in NEC rules where it said that you have to concede. That is a gentleman's approach. And there's nowhere in there where it says you have to accept the results without challenging. Even 2017, when United Party lost, the John Charles Bromsky and the Liberty Party in a lawsuit against NEC because CDC won. They didn't just go. So nobody should say, "Oh, well, when United Party lost in 2017, they conceded." Did anybody concede? Did anybody concede before they counted the votes? George Weah is the very first president in our history, as far as I know, to concede even before the final result was announced. I didn't expect it from him. I was surprised. And in our modern day Africa that we know, who is the president setting a president that does that? And not only does he do that, but then he starts a
look in the camera, you're looking up.
He starts a smooth transition in the process. George Weah has done well. Let's criticize the man when he does wrong or he does bad, but let's also give him his flowers when he does well. What President Weah has done has set a precedent. The next president, who is already in power and is an incumbent, and he loses the race, the pressure will be on him to do what George Weah did and to do it in such a smooth manner. So we'll give it to him.
Thank you. Mr. After we are done, I see where the acrimony is from, where heads of state. Mr. Dewey, look at you. Oh, you're looking up. Can you move your camera up so you can look directly into the camera?
I'm looking directly in the camera.
There you go. Okay. So all the commendations coming to the country, they will say congratulations to Honorable Joseph Walker for winning the election, one line, and then the next subsequent 3 paragraphs will be President Weah, President Weah, President Weah. So is he really on this man parade here? Joseph Walker just won the election. Instead of talking about the winning of the election, They are talking about
You see,
class. Talking about
I, I think we should be giving credit to Josh Weah for the fact that uh, again, as somebody said, during my lifetime, this is the first time that I've witnessed an elections result that have not been finalized or finally pronounced by Elections Commission for a sitting president to accept defeat. I've not heard that. It's very unfortunate that Kamara will sit here and not say the truth, but he he's still in that campaign mode. It's very unfortunate that he'll be in that campaign mode. We need to move forward. George Weah should be given credit. George Weah was threatened several times, even before he came to power, for Weka to hand over power. It was tough. It was tough. The same guys that were around are around today. Most of them were around during that time. Even Kamara said were around. That he just think that Weka just his feet and say, "Oh yeah, George, yeah, you take it." No, it was not like that, Mr. Kamara. It was tough for them to concede. All right. So for us to be here, not giving credit to George Weah for keeping the peace of this country, accepting the results before the final pronouncement, I think we are not doing justice to the worker who took over, and we will pray that George Weah handling power to the transition team to Bueka, it will go on smoothly with all any rescue one, rescue two, or rescue.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we go with the Buffy again. Mr. Eastman,
Yes.
we are going to transition to the takeaway. We are looking at the transition team that the president put together and the transition team that Mr. Weah put together. What can you take away? What is the takeaway from this particular transition, the maneuvering? When you look at the composition of both of the transition team, what does this say to you? What can you read into it? Read your tea leaves.
Well, it would have been nice if we could put it up. I'm going to see if I can put it up while I talk to it.
Mhm.
But it's the usual players that would have expected, like the Secretary General of the UP party, right? We would have expected that, and but there are some new entrants on it that is a little bit surprising to me. For instance, Amara Konneh, who is the president, senator elect for Buffalo. I wouldn't have expected him to be on it, but then maybe because it appears now he's taking a mid stance in this Barca administration. He was instrumental in announcing the results, and now he's moved center stage as one of the chief spokesmen for the new incoming administration. So I thought that was interesting, you know. And who else he has on his team? As I believe what I can take away from this team, I would have liked to see an expert in change management, somebody who has the previous experience and formal training in change management. And I say so because not this handover is first of all, we have to take stock of the current condition of the nation, what's in the accounts, what are the projects, ongoing projects, and a numerous, a plethora of things that's going on in the government. And then you have to incorporate that in your plans for tomorrow. I'm sure there's some goals and objectives that this administration will want to achieve in the first 100 days, and what is handed over may maybe affect that in one way or the other. So I didn't see that, but I did see players like I believe all the supporters like Medela Cooper. She was one of those. And everyone I've seen they've been supporters of the party. But campaigning and then running, running the government are not the same thing. When you start running the government, that's when you need the technicians, the technocrats who know what to do. But and I think that was the failure in past administration, we didn't see enough technocrats on their team to run the country because there's certain inherent knowledge in certain fields that a novice will not have. And it will take time to get it. So I see that's what I didn't notice. I didn't see enough people with the technical people. I just saw a bunch of supporters, which you would expect, but we got a lot more to see. That's my takeaway from the list, and I'll be searching for the list in the meantime.
Great, Mr. Padmore. One of the things that some of us people are talking about is in these United States or in true democracy, there is a separation of powers. We have the executive and we have the legislature. Now we see someone like Mr. Amara Konneh, who is part of the legislative body, separate from the executive, is now basically usurping the power of the executive while he's in the legislature. What do you take away from this composition?
Well, let me say one. I wasn't impressed. I won't say I was disappointed. There are competent people on there. They can comprehend. They've shown some degree of leadership. So I won't say I was disappointed, but I wasn't impressed. I continue to hear United Party supporters and partisans saying there's a new dawn. There's a new dawn. But then I see people like Samuel Kofi Woods, who being politics saying our baby, on there. And I'm just like, is it really a new dawn? So, it is what it is. It's a transitional team. I think, the first group of appointments will really say which direction this government is going. But yeah, I saw that they tried to do certain things. They tried to include. I noticed they tried to include everybody. They went from the west all the way to the southeast. They made sure that they included people from the southeast. I think that's their way of trying to make some form of amends because I think a lot of people were looking for that. If they were going to isolate people from the southeast, I think that the first place they were going to start from. So they were very smart, even though it's a couple of their core supporters, but they made sure they got people from the southeast. They included somebody from the disabled community in that group. So I could see, even though a few people were kind of concerned that they only had few women in there, they were looking for a higher percentage. But, I think if they could have done it, they probably were going to do it. So it tells me, the good part of it tells me that they're paying attention, which is a good way to start. They're paying attention. Now, how they respond to information they are getting is another thing. But yeah, like I said, I'm not very excited. I wasn't excited about the list.
You didn't address the issue of
Amara Konneh.
The executive and legislative merging that he usurped.
Yeah. Amara Konneh, I'll speak directly to Amara Konneh, because in the list, that's who I saw. I mean, Faba was there, but she's been a long time, supporter of UP. She's an executive of UP. So I mean, I would expect her to be on the list, even though she won a senatorial seat. But I will speak to Amara Konneh. Did not run a United Party ticket. Amara Konneh was not even endorsed by the United Party. It wasn't until, if you guys know, it wasn't until Ellen's birthday when Joe Burker went to tell Ellen happy birthday. Well, what told they told there. 2 days later, we saw Amara on the train. I wasn't privy to that conversation, but it was just the timing was just kind of noticeable. Since then, Darius Dillon not on the list. Yombi Kanga not on the list. People who've been there not on the list. Why was Amara on the list? Now Amara was elected by the people of Bapolu to represent the people of Bapolu. That is why he was there. That's why he was elected, not to be Joseph Boyka handball, and to start controlling everything. I'm acting like Joseph Boyka, office chief of staff or minister. If Amara had not been elected, I would be guessing that Amara would be Minister of State. That's how he's acting right now. He's in that role. He's controlling Joseph Boyka's entire office staff, his daily schedule, what's going on. Come on now, you are a senator. Okay, a few months from now, you are going to be sitting in the seat, and Joseph Boyka is going to put before you ministers and heads of agencies for you to vet and for you to either confirm or deny. How do you walk that fine line? Are you just entering this to be a yes or yes man to the administration? Come on now, and that is where I have a problem. I think he's done enough. He came in when they needed him. He helped protect the vote. He helped get them elected. Good. Step back. Start focusing on the people of Bapolu. Start focusing on your job ahead that you have to do, and letting people run their government. And that's where I stand.
Thank you. Mr. Kamara.
Yes, sir.
Here we are. The composition of this team. You are a sedition. You supported Joseph Boyka because you said there were fundamental differences with the party and you expected Joseph Boyka to do X, Y, Z. Looking at the composition of the transition team, what do you take away from that?
First of all, let's clear some stuff up. Listen, before the election, let me just compliment the National Elections Commission. I want to tell David Etta Brown, Lasana, thank you for a job well done. In fact, if I had voice in the Unity Party, I am not a member of the Unity Party. But if I had voice in the Unity Party, I would have suggested to the Honorable JMB to keep Mrs. Brown over there, Lasana over there, because over the years, everything has not been perfect. But she has proven to be someone who has been willing to try. We saw in the 2019 by-election. We saw the 2020 by-election. We saw opposition winning at a very high scale under this woman. It's not very normal. We overlook her, we pass her and go to those who didn't do the work. Now, when somebody says, "Oh, Judge, we had conceded before the final result," that is not the truth. The problem here is the public. Before the public heard the final result, Judge, we had conceded. But to tell you the truth, by the time the election ended on the same day, by the next day, Judge, we already had the information. The tally sheets are out by the time the tabulations are done. So, Judge, we are already.
Mr. Kamara,
I'm coming to your question.
No. Real quick, let me push back on that because in these United States, there is a law in the electoral process that if you have an election there's a threshold that if you meet that threshold, you have an automatic recount. Automatically, the candidate have no choice.
What does the law in Liberia say?
Listen to this. I think Mr. Padmore said that the president could have used that route to ask for a recount, but he didn't do this. So for that, the world is giving him credit. He could have done like other African people, recount until you win. But that's not what he did. So
okay, Mr. Gibbon, he could have. What he could have done, I'm not going to discuss what he could have done. I'm telling you what he did for me is not out of the ordinary. That is the right thing to do. When you are elected as the president of the nation, you are the person who shows what we call moral. You are the person who shows justice. You're the person who shows equality. When you do your job, you're only doing your job. When I go to my job, I sit in front of my computer and sign in. Whatever I do during those 8, 9 hours, I'm doing my job. I don't expect anything else. So that's what George Weah did. Okay. Now the issue of Yombly, Darrell Dillon wasn't on the list. Yombly and Darrell Dillon are sitting senators. That's why they were not on the list. And they themselves were part of the team that selected these people. Okay. Now my big brother said that he didn't see technocrat. He wasn't looking for a technocrat, because if he was looking, he would have realized that the entire team are all technocrats, all of them. Abuaka Kamara, technocrat. Konneh, technocrat. All of them, technocrat. Kofi Wood, technocrat. They're all technocrat with vast experience in the area of public service. But let me just say, this team does not speak for the entire Joseph Boakai government or what Joseph Boakai will do, and a lot of them will be in government. So, but there are other people that are coming from other places, from Liberia and other places, who are coming to do this work. Look, let me tell you something. Like Joseph Boakai said, the issue have not been the workers or the employees. The issue have been the leadership. Leadership have been the problem. If you have a leader who has a good vision and a great sense of direction, doesn't matter who's serving in these ministries, even if they're just mere high school graduates, they will perform, because the code of ethics will be there, and our daily functions will be there, and they'll be enforced, and therefore you'll follow the pattern. So those things, all we can pray for now is is that the government succeeds, because if the government succeeds, we all do. We all go to Liberia and we're afraid to be outside 11, 10 o'clock at night. So if the government succeeds, we all benefit. That's what we all pray for. I think we all should keep the government feet to the fire. I am here now. I have assumed my role as a citizen, and therefore I can go after Joe Boakai anytime. You'll be surprised to see me go after Joe Boakai brutally.
Great. Mr. Morris, you were just coming here. We talked earlier about the president's, the class he shows by conceding and keeping the peace. And now we are looking at the composition of the Joseph Boakai transition team. What is your takeaway? What do you infer from this list?
Thank you, Mr. Gaiman. Sorry for coming late. I'm still a bit under the weather. I think we have to be fair to President Weah, and I think heaping too much praise on him is a little bit unfair in a way also. And the reason I'm saying that is this is a man who is beloved in Africa and in general the world of football. So a lot of people are happy that he didn't tarnish his reputation by trying to cling on to power when it wasn't justified. So I think they're all relieved that he did the right thing by conceding and not trying to fight and look like some kind of wannabe dictator. So they applaud him for that, simply because they already love him and they want to show their love and appreciation for him. And I think that's one of the reasons why they're heaping so much praise on him. The other thing, Mr. Kamara said it, and I just want to shine more light on what he said. When he said that George Weah was expected to concede, he was expected to do his job. That's what we all knew. Those of us who supported this president, we know that he's not a person to go against the will of the people. He never has. And he's now is pointing out the fact that since the commission, the NEC came into power, they've been handling elections fairly. George, we have never strong-armed any elections since this NEC has been in power. So that's why it was so baffling to some of us when Joseph Boakai and his acolytes were saying that George Weah is going to steal these elections. He's going to try to rig these elections. When we made an argument, he's never done it before. He said, yeah, that's because he was not on the ballot. Now that he's going to be on the ballot, he's definitely going to rig it. But now today they're saying, well, since the NEC has been, this composition of NEC commissioners has been there, there's never, the opposition has won a lot of elections. Mr. Kamara is even praising, David Lasana Brown. So it shows that President Weah, like we've been saying, is a true Democrat. When we say these things, they think we're being partisan or we're trying to heap praise on Weah when it's not warranted. It's not true. And another key thing I want to draw is the situation in Sierra Leone. A lot of people agree that the elections in Sierra Leone was actually rigged. and it was unfair. And that's why you're seeing unrest. And if they're not very, very careful, it could escalate into something more dangerous. And those are the foresight that President Weah had. And he thought it won't be prudent to prolong these elections. He's only 57 years old. In 6 years' time, he will be about 63 years old. He will have, by God's grace, the strength, the will, and the experience to come back if you wish to run for another term. So this is not the end of the world. So him giving power to Boyka was the right thing to do because he knew that he lost these elections fair and square. And we must applaud him for that because that histories where people lose elections and try to, mango, so to speak, their way back into power. So we appreciate him for that. And then I think, Mr. Padmore, before I came on, I was listening to you. You said something so succinct. You said it so brilliantly when we were talking about the UP and the CDC. And I see people talking about you in the comments that, oh, you're bitter, you're this, but it's not true. The reality is UP didn't give up power easily, even though they lost by a way wider margin than President Weah lost in these elections. They fought tooth and nail. We even heard when Ben Ayur was saying, when Guaga was saying that Ben Ayur wanted him to go to war.
Are you answering the question?
No. I'm just touching on different topics that you guys covered that I didn't have the chance to cover. Yes, we even heard when Ben Ayur, Boyka was exposing Uri for trying to get him to not concede the elections. They even put some armed thugs in the street to destabilize the country. None of these happened, with President Weah. So we must applaud him for that. Looking at the composition of the transitional team, one person pointed it out, but I think it's irrelevant. People say, well, you have Gribble people there, you have cool people. Where are the current people? I say, it's not important. It's really, really irrelevant. Some people say, other people are saying, well, the Southeast is already represented. So I laugh because when we say that the western part of the country was represented by, what's the foreign minister name? Kimia, which is perhaps the second highest position in the Republic of Liberia. He's from Lofa. What do you mean he's not from the West? Where is he from?
That's the North.
Oh, come on,
okay.
Man.
Well, yeah. Lofa now is the North, but they had a Northern Alliance. So they're all part of it. The point is, he has such a high-profile position in Weah's government. And apart from that, in the CDC party and the rank and file, the people of Lofa dominates. So when people try to make it seem like this government was a Southeastern government, it's not true. A lot of people from Lofa County was in this government. So again, we should have done more when it comes to inclusion. Hopefully, he will learn from these mistakes that he made, and if he wants to come back for a next term, if he's privileged to get a second term, he will rectify some of these things. But we are all on pins and needles, and hoping that Joseph Boyka would be a better president than President Weah, because we always want things better than what we had in the past. But what I see happening, this is just my prediction, is going to be in a bubble. They're going to surround him, and it's going to be a fight for influence on Joseph Boyka. And for a fact, those who will have the most influence and those who will isolate him the most will be his nephew, Jay Kabakole, and be his son, Jojo Boyka. And that's where you'll see the likes of Prince Johnson, complaining we're not having access to the president. Amara Konneh may have, some reservation on, being his vice president. We'll see all of these things. We're seeing it now. Before he even take office, before he go anywhere, you have almost 20 people surrounding him. People who are not bodyguards acting as bodyguards. You see the likes of George Lobo, who wants to be his mouthpiece. We'll see all of these things happening where the people of Lofa and his close family members will try to protect him like a golden egg. And that may rub the people of Nimba the wrong way. And hopefully it doesn't, cause any confusion. But that's something that I can foresee happening. And hopefully Joseph Boyka and his camp would know how to handle that. But thank you for having me, and I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Gilman.
Great. Okay, so Mr. Kamara is off. Let's go to the next one here. The role of Amara Konneh in these elections and the aftermath. Is he doing too much? What is the rescue team telling us about all these new things, every new thing is being introduced by Amara Konneh. Now he now introduced a new thing after making all of these promises that they were going to rescue Liberia. All of a sudden now he's saying Liberians should manage their own expectation. Mr. Pamela, let me begin with you. Is this man doing too much here?
Look, everybody should be excited about the government they help usher into power. And everybody should do what they can in their space to make sure that government is successful. My issue with Amara Konneh is that he's doing too much. He's blurring the lines. He has an elected responsibility. And he's not even allowing himself to grow into that, and he's all in the executive. It's concerning me because Amara Konneh has never been a legislator. He's always been a member of the executive. Okay? This is going to be new for him. And the people of Bapulu need the senator to be focused on the people of Bapulu. I feel like he's done his part. Let me give you an example. On the unfortunate incident that happened at the United Party headquarters a week ago or so, and and where people unfortunately lost their lives, and there was this news going about whether it was intentional, whether it was premeditated, whether it was an accident. Amara Konneh came out on social media in the public and started to talk about how Eddie Coleman and Uncle Nee, Gregor Coleman and Sam Gay had interrogated this guy basically, and that it was not intentional. Even the United Party people started telling him, "Am I doing too much now?" Same when he became investigator, it was. It's just a sign of what I'm saying. Amara did well. He needs to step back now. Let the executives run the executive and let him be the legislator that he was elected to be. The people of Bapulu need him to be focused as a senator.
Amara.
Yeah, Mr. Atawiado, can you bring your camera down or bring it up your body? We can see your face. Okay, there you go.
Am I okay now? Am I okay?
Yeah.
You're still leaning to the right a little, or the left a little bit.
Leaning to your right. Okay, while he adjusts, let's go to Mr. Eastman here. We are talking about Amara Konneh here all over the place. Now it looks like he has usurped the role of the executive. He's the spokesperson. He's the investigator. He is the media person. He's legitimized everything, Mr. Eastman.
I found that interesting myself. That he is. I think what Padma was saying just now is is attributing to this sort of action. He's used to being in the executive. This congressional role is new, and he probably will be acclimated after a while. But then again, there may be a strong alliance now forming between him and the chief executive. This alliance may lead to him becoming maybe, I haven't seen him throw in his hat yet for Speaker of the House, but he may be trying to ingratiate himself into the
Just to correct you, Mr. Eastman, he can't be Speaker of the House. He's in a sense of Senate Pro Tem.
Okay, sorry, Senator Pro Tem. My bad. Misspoke. Thank you for that. So it may be that he's trying to take a very influential role in this next administration, and it's obvious. Now, how will that be responded to is going to be interesting as well for those who have been in these trenches for all this time, to see somebody at this late stage taking up all the glory may backfire against him, and which I suspect, because I'm beginning to hear some murmurs of discontent. But I think he needs to, just what you alluded to. He needs to stay in his lane, and in that his function now as a lawmaker, it should be seen autonomous to the executive. This is why we have three branches of government, and they have to have a balance between them. Now, if the legislative and the executive are one, or is so close that it blurs the line, there's no difference between them. Whenever there's no difference between something, it means you don't need one of them. So he needs to know that he has to be autonomous to the executive to provide a balance, a different set of eyes and ears and mind, so that when proposals come across, when laws are being made, when agreements are being signed, we have a completely independent view. So I think where he's treading, he may be looking at it one way, but I think it's dangerous for a democracy.
Thank you. Mr. Isma, I just put a clip in our chat room, and I sent it to you personally. Can you please play that? Or why?
Okay.
You got it?
I'm looking for it. I'll be looking for it.
Great. Mr. Wiado, you having problem with your phone there? Hopefully you can join the debate, because you keep shaking. But anyhow, your takeaway from the transition team, Mr. Amara Konneh, his role or his lack of understanding of his role, doesn't know that the executive branch should be held accountable. The check and balance between the executive and the legislative branches, the oversight piece is what he has not acclimated himself to, and now he's all over the place. Your takeaway from Mr. Amara Konneh and his role?
I think I look at the entire team. I don't see any problem with that. For the fact that the team is a crack team. Number one, the team is a really technical team. It's a good transition team that will bring about check and balance on the other side to make sure that the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. The fact that Amara Konneh is on the list, for me, I don't see any problem, because the executive and the legislative branch are supposed to be working in close consultation. And I don't care what we do, there will be that strong camaraderie, that strong friendship between the executive and the legislative branch. So Amara Konneh role has for me has nothing to do with the bread and butter issue of Liberians. What Liberia is expecting now for that transition to come in and be made smoothly, so that the bread and butter issues of Liberians can be tackled. That should be our problem. That should be our focus. And the list, as far as I'm concerned, is strong for a transition. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Isma, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Please play that clip. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Is it coming?
Yeah, give me 1 minute.
Okay, guys. We are gonna be listening to a clip, and then after that we will go from there.
Y'all can hear it?
No.
No.
Okay. Go ahead.
Make sure you put you press the unmute button on the video.
Find reasons for some of the hardship, especially in those areas that are essential to their livelihood. Well, make the price of rice high, or make the price of some of the things that touch the soul of the person. Immediately we'll review those things there, and then we can start moving into something. I've said in the first 100 days, no car will get stuck on a major road in this country. And I mean,
So podcast Librarians are looking up to you because the election commission has declared you as a winner. So if you get to the presidential seat, what will Librarian will accept for you?
Can we go back from the beginning? We didn't get the whole thing.
First, what's the first thing on your agenda as the president?
Maybe you can just tell us what he said and we can move forward with it. I think the video is sticking.
Are you taking call on what today? Maybe we need to move on though. It became redundant.
For some reason,
What's the first thing on your agenda as the president-elect of Liberia? Your entire government, I mean.
well, first and foremost, the Liberians have been complaining, they've been yearning for many, many things.
Okay, it looks like we are struggling to play the tip. What he's saying is he was asked.
You're muted.
He was
No, he's
asked.
not muted.
He was asked what was he going to do.
Joe, you're muted.
No, I'm muted.
Hey, Mr.
He's not muted. He's unmuted.
He's not muted. I can hear him here.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, he was asked about all the promises that were made, and he said Liberia have been yearning for commodity prices, and in his first 100 days, the price of rice and all of these things, he's going to address them. And then he said within the first 90 days, there will be no car stuck in Liberia on major roads. That's what he said. So here we are. This now brings us to the Amara Konneh things. Amara Konneh is now making, speaking for the administration, the incoming administration. He is saying Liberian people should be realistic. They should manage their own expectations, because people are saying rice prices will go down, roads are going to be paved because Joseph Walker says so. So here we are now. We are talking about what is it when people say the outgoing administration, they are kleptocrat, they have no integrity, they are liars, they are thieves. We are bringing in a wise man who has integrity. Now listen, when it comes to holding Joseph Walker accountable for what he said, then you say the question wrong. Mr. Kamara, you take a first crack at this. Now, Amara Konneh is saying political talk basically is different. It's irrelevant. We should manage our expectation. Talk to me. What does it mean by managing expectation?
Yeah, I don't think Amara Konneh was drawing the distinction between political talk and expectation. I think that's your own thing you're saying.
No, don't say that. He said Liberians should manage their expectations. That's not me saying that. I'm quoting him directly.
No, but you said he is saying that there's a difference between political talk, and that's not what he said. Now, here's the thing. People must manage their own expectation. It does not necessarily mean that Amara Konneh doesn't see Joseph Walker implementing the things that he promised. What Amara Konneh is saying in nutshell is that when you manage your own expectation, it brings about patience. You'll be able to be patient, you'll be able to see things from a more broader, a more clearer spectrum, as opposed to you just expecting New York to be built in one day's time. Remember, this country has been set back, way back. It was put in reverse gear for the last 6 years. So there are some things that has to be fixed immediately, and then before you can actually get on track. When the train leaves the track, you have to put the train back on the track in order for the train to begin to move. But everything that Joseph Boakai promised, they are all realistic. Joseph Boakai promised that he will make sure that the country will be self-sufficient in food. Joseph Boakai has the ability to do so because he has the proven record of doing that in the past. All right. Joseph Boakai said that no cars will be stuck on major roads in his first 100 days. That's only 100 days. Remember, how many major roads does Liberia have? Not many in terms of cars sticking in the mud. You're talking about the RTI road going to Sino and the one that going through to Grand Chile. All right. So there's not a lot of major roads. Now, the issue of whether Mr. Konneh should be talking or should be supporting Boakai. And remember now, don't forget, Mr. Konneh is not a senator. He has not yet become a senator. Right now, this is a transitional period. Remember another thing, though. So, Joseph Boakai really needs Konneh for several reasons. Konneh is connected with Wall Street. Konneh is connected with World Bank and IMF. And Konneh has vast experience in the area of financial growth. So anybody who is going to work at Joseph Boakai's finance minister, they're going to need Amara Konneh. And the best thing for Joseph Boakai to do, which he has been doing, is to keep Amara Konneh closer. Because the point here, the goal here is to be successful. Now, what we don't agree with is him over talking. There are some jobs for the security, there are some jobs for the communication team, and there are some jobs for the financial aspect. We think he should stay in the area of finance and start running his mouth all over the place. But other than that, there's nothing that has gone wrong so far because, first of all, he's not a senator. And second of all, we know why Kevin McCarthy was kicked out of Congress. We know why. It's because he kept messing with Donald Trump. So don't tell us that the president does not have influence in Congress here in the United States. It's everywhere.
Mr. Gamer, please permit me to respond after him.
Listen, I have never. This is why sometimes Dennis just get upset with me. He thinks sometimes I become condescending when I talk to people who really don't know what they're talking about. Because for this man to tell me after the election was held in the United States when Donald Trump was announced the president, or that Joe Biden had won the presidency between the time he was announced the winner to the time for inauguration of President Biden can do anything he wants to do because I'm still a regular person. I'm not president.
What are you talking about?
Excuse me.
We're talking about elected senator.
Excuse me. You are saying the time between being elected senator and being installed officially, anything he can do, he's a private citizen. That is not true.
I did not say anything. I did not say anything he can do. That's not what I said. I can't do anything. Just because I want to do it.
Mr. Padmore. I said, Mr. Padmore, go ahead.
Are we speaking on what the gentleman just spoke about?
Yeah, we are talking now about the
emerging expectations.
Yeah, the urge, the audacity to say in the presence of all these promises that heaven will come down, manna will be falling from the sky. There will be no more hunger. There will be chicken in every pot. Now he's saying, no. Political talk is different. We got to manage expectations.
Well, it's just a sign that reality is setting in. You know, it's not very difficult, especially in a country like Liberia, to be opposition, to oppose everything. It's not difficult at all. But once you are given the mantle of the presidency, of governorship, reality sets in. And the reality is that this government is not going to be able to deliver all the things that they have promised. And even the ones that they will be able to deliver is not going to come in a speedy fashion. Even actually talking about the roads, if you notice it, they started to twist it and started to add things into it. The first time he made that statement, no one used the word major. Now he's inserting major roads into it. You know, all those things. We understand those things are politics. We expected that. We know the country. We know very well that there was no way, it was impossible for Joseph Boakai to make every single road in the country passable and manageable within that period of time, even in the middle of the dry season. It is difficult to do. So we're not surprised about that. The managing expectation is just a dog whistle. It's just right now they're setting the people up to say, look, y'all need to calm down. Y'all need to stop. Right now, we need to stop. The thing that we spoke about, we need now to start going away from those things because it's not going to happen like that. I hear people talking about you know, I don't know if you remember this chant from during the elections. You harmonize our pay, will harmonize your vote. That's the chant they were singing towards George Weah. Now that Unity Party is about to take over, they are not going to be able to deharmonize the salary. The wage bill is already bloated. You can't. There's no space. They're not going to be able to take away the free wire fees. You can't do that. They're not going to be able to take away the free tuition of public universities. You can't do that. You can't do any one of those things. So reality is setting in now. And that's where this is coming from.
Thank you. Mr. Arthur, we are due. I disagree with you. So somebody who is a very close friend of mine that has been into politics for so long, to say you do not see any problem with the executive and the legislative branch working that close when you know very well they are there to make laws and oversight, check and balance. Like Mr. Patmore said, when it comes to vetting, when the executive sends somebody for confirmation, it is the responsibility of the Senate to make sure that that person is vetted, qualified for the job, and the person is going to work in the interest of the nation. And you are saying you see nothing wrong with the executive and the legislative branches working in hand because they need each other. So where is the check and balance? Where is the oversight?
As we speak, as we speak now, Amara Konneh is a senator-elect. We are talking about a transition team, Mr. Giva. And there is not an operation of the government. Bweka is not president, sitting president. Power has not been turned over to Bweka yet.
Simple as that.
Why should we worry if they have figure-headed people on the team? If they have unprofessional people on the team, people that have no technical knowledge on the team, then I will have problem. But this is a transition team.
Does John Noble have any technical know-how?
John Noble is not on that team.
Excuse me?
We are talking about the team, right? We're talking about the 20-man team, correct? Is Noble on it?
Well, the picture that coming from
I don't want for us to deviate. I don't want for us to deviate from the topic I beg.
No,
I want for us to focus on.
I'm looking at the photos from the White House. He's on there.
You're distracting the man, man.
The man is a possible employer of the White House for the fact that the man fought hard to get this thing done. But let's not dwell on that. Let us look at the team, and let us look at all those that are on the team that has the professionalism, the technical know-how, when to see the light, to know how to do the transition very smoothly. I think there's a crack team that has been put together, that has been represented, and that has been put together. The fact that we have this particular team, all of these guys that are there, we know them. You and I, every one of us that are here, we know these guys. They are experienced people. So as I will say again, I have no problem with Amara being on the team. Amara is paving his way on the team and in the government. We don't know as to whether probably he wants to be chair on the executive or what. When we were in the national legislature, we saw that the executive and the national legislature, they work closely with each other because they need each other to get things moving. They need each other to get things moving. So if Amara, who is a senator-elect, is on the team, I think it's a good thing for the Bweka side. So let's give that credit to the Bweka to put all these professional guys together and let them do the transition. There should not be any issue at all. What Liberians are now looking at is what worker we put on the table, what kind of food the worker will put on the table for them. That's all they're looking at. Those that are in Clarendon, those that are in Soniwen, West Point, Nukutan, those slums area, those will be a concentrated area because they are in Monrovia. All right. So we want to see the development, the growth of those people. Whether they will be hungry, whether they will stay, be Zogo. And most of the things that just we are put together, they will not be undone. That harmonization will not be deharmonized, like my brother said. It will not touch it. That free tuition, the government will not touch it. All right? Because it will make the government unpopular. What the government needs to do now is get the transition going, get the boycott inaugurated, and look at the bread and water issue that boycott talked about, while it's more concerned to its government, begin to delve into there and uplift the people's life. Now, all we here as panelists need to look at the boycott government very closely, dissect it. Every day we come here, before we get here, we should put it on the microscope. Which area they are falling short. Let us talk about it. Let us discuss about it. That's what we should be doing. But the thing, as I see it, it is a fact thing. It is only a transition thing. We shouldn't have problem with it. Let us discuss.
Thank you, Mr. Elvis Morris. I think Mr. Doe sidestepped the main thing here. We played a clip. We talked about the gentleman who is basically the spokesman for the incoming administration now, talking about the management of expectations. I just played a clip when the incoming president says the prices of commodities, all of these things, the price of rice and all these things that the people are yawning for and they are clamoring for, he is going to address them. And then he talked about, in my first 90 days, there will be no car stuck on any major highway or any major road. And now they are saying, he is saying that I am stretching the fact. Talk to that.
Thank you, Mr. Gaiman. I think when Amara says that UP partisans or UP supporters should temper their expectation, we have to listen to him because he's a financial expert and he knows the financial state of our nation. He knew it when he was there during Ellen time. When you look at our national budget, first thing first, you have to look at our reoccurring cost. And then look at what you want to do in terms of the projects and the policies that you want to implement and the monies you're going to need to implement those policies or those projects. Where are you getting those monies from? If you're looking at just revenue collections, all of the things Boycott wants to do is not going to be possible with just revenue collections. They're talking about asset recovery, taking assets from people who they think were corrupt. After they audit them, investigate them, that would help. Cutting down salaries or this and that. But it'll take somebody with financial ingenuity to do those things. That's why I think his finance minister will be very, very important. But one of the things I want to say here is that, look, in government, we knew this when George Weah was there. There's competing priorities. And certain things you just can't do because you don't have the money. And certain things are way more important than others. So you have to prioritize those. When Boycott talking about the 100 days or 90 days, no car being stuck on the road, it's very easy and very doable. One is because we're in dry season. The roads are not going to be as muddy as it is in the rainy season. So coming into office at this time of the year, that goal could be very much, easily, achieved. So that's not the issue. The biggest thing I see that's going to be so frustrating for some of us who supported President Weah is this notion that that Mr. Amara made, that the country was taken so far back before you can see any progress. You have to wait 5 years. After the 5 years has gone, then now we're on track. Because George Weah took the country back so many years, we're just putting the country back on track. So give us another 6 years to implement our vision because it took us 5 years to just get back on track. That would be their complaint. That would be their excuse, and we're not going to buy it. Because the reality is Joseph Boyka is not going to be able to bring down the price of rice. All of these, phantasmagorical stories these guys was telling us that Joseph Boyka, just simply because he's a state man, when he get in office, people will be clamoring to work with him. People want to bring the prices of commodities down because simply Joseph Boyka is in office. That's not how it works. Our agricultural sector, where he said he wants to be food independent. We earlier had all the government, all the resources coming into our government. We were not food independent. When Tarver was doing his green revolution and trying to make us food independent, we saw what happened with the rice riot. All of those things. We want to be food independent, but it's going to take real ingenuity and resources that we just don't have at this moment. And I don't see us getting that resource, those resources in 6 years of Joseph Boyka administration. So I think people who are experienced technocrats, people who have actual innate knowledge of these things, people who are adept in finance, they understand that a real problem is not just 1 year, 2 years. It's going to take a long time for us to get to where we want to be. So for those UPIS who support Joseph Boyka, these people are telling you all of these things you're saying. Joseph Boyka is going to change this. He's going to change that. He's going to do this. It's not going to happen, or at least not as fast as you think. So I know that long before he got there. So I'm not even expecting him to do half of the things that he's promising. And the last thing I will say before I leave this, looking at Joseph Boyka's physical constitution, you realize that it's going to be a long haul for him. It's going to be a long and arduous task for him to run that country. Many people, especially the people at Nimba, are expecting him to give Jeremiah Cohn something of a prime minister position so that he can be more effective in his government. But I can tell you right now, those guys, the George Lobos, the Anthony Kesselis, the Kofi Woods, they're not gonna let the Prince Johnson factor, overshadow them. So that's where we're going to see some problems coming into this incoming government. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Eastman, Mr. Torso, the original Torso and Torso, Mr. Eastman, we are talking about during the election campaign, Mr. Aliu Kamara, everybody was talking about how people are tired of suffering. There is no food on the table. You can't get food. You can't get things. You can't get it. When Joseph Boyka get it, all this is going to change. All of a sudden, Mr. Amara Konneh is saying, hey, temper down your expectations. Don't expect too much too soon. Talk to me.
Yeah, you know, 1 month after the inauguration, when all the euphoria dissipates and we're back to the Madison, we're back to business as usual. I want to see how you would tell somebody manage your expectation when he get food in his stomach. He be able to buy any food for his children that morning to send them to school. When the tuition due and he doesn't have the money to send his children to school. When the people go in the marketplace and they can't find the things they want at the prices they can afford. All that manage your expectations will go out the window. But what I can say is this: what will be important? I told you talk so, right? What will be important is the messaging to the people. How you would tell the people to hold your heart as we work on this thing. And if you craftily do it in a way that gives people hope. I think one of the reasons what people started to lose hope in the last administration. And when people lose hope, they become desperate. They create what is created is called despair. And then they find other means, other alternatives because hope is gone. So then it will be upon the government and its administration to talk to the people in a way that they would still have hope, even though they said when the meat of drying, what will be eating in the meantime. You will have to provide that balance for them, so they will be able to manage the storm. And how will they do it? Well, they got low hanging fruit, they got high hanging fruit. Maybe they will go for some low hanging fruit in the beginning. But like I said, if they get lost in the infighting, which I expect because it happens all the time. When the dust settles, then people start saying, "I need this. I won't be this. I won't be that." If they can handle that part of it and start their operations and keep the people informed of what they're doing, so they can hold their heart, then they will be they may be able to do something in the coming years.
Great.
But remember, we got to remember, they gave President Weah 6 years. So they too, there's a lot of expectations that are waiting for them, and they better do something, or they too may see something in 1929 or 2029.
Great. Let me start this with you because I know it's right in your area. Then I go to Mr. Weir and then Padmore. Prince Johnson is making a lot of demands, serious demands on this administration, on Joseph Boakai. What do you see coming here? Is Joseph Boakai ready to deal with Prince Johnson? And then the flip side to that is the United States have made it clear that anybody who dealt with Prince Johnson through the Magnitsky Act will have a price to pay. How will Joseph Boakai balance those two?
Well, you can clearly see, you notice that all the photo ops we've been seeing, Prince Johnson has been in the distance, you know? So obviously they're managing him with a 10-foot pole, keeping him away from the limelight. But with all that, Prince Johnson delivered. He delivered, and without his support, he would have not won. So there are some expectations he will have to meet, or we can clearly understand that Prince Johnson may has a strategy to make his demands met. I think it's going to be something that is about to play out. We will know that first by the appointment, the new cabinet that will be appointed. We'll start seeing that, and after that happens, then we'll see the stance the MDR will take. But I'm not thinking that simply because they merge with the MDR, the UP party will be punished because it's a party. But I do not see them drawing too close to Prince Johnson directly because the ramifications that will happen should they. So it's a funny game they're about to play now, and it's going to be interesting how they do it.
Mr. Padmore, we were talking about the Magnitsky Act, and it was very clear that Prince Johnson was sanctioned for behind the scene, pay to play, and anybody who is associated with that person also has a price to pay. And in the open, Front Page Africa, Daily Observer, everywhere you go, he's making the claim that he needs 20 positions, and he named those positions that he wants. Those were his demand. How does this affect the incoming government? And do you think Joseph Boakai is going to be in trouble with the international community for dealing with a sanctioned individual?
Well, there's a couple of things. I am expecting that.
Oh, is somebody watching Spoon in the back? You gotta mute it, please.
That Joseph Boakai. Somebody watching Spoon?
No, I don't think so.
Somebody got something on.
Let me see if there's more. Is it still on?
Somebody has something on. Somebody got something on.
Well, why don't we mute ourselves?
Yeah, everybody mute.
Mute yourself, guys. With the exception of Ports of Talk, let me mute everybody. Okay, go ahead.
We okay?
Go ahead.
Right. So like I was saying, I am expectant that Joseph Boakai will surround himself with the right people that will be able to steer him away from such, that will be able to somehow navigate that so that he does not get in trouble with the foreign partners. Whether that keeps him out of trouble with Prince Johnson, That's a whole different thing right there. It might put him in trouble with Prince Johnson. But then again, look, Joseph Boyka, we all knew from the beginning Joseph Boyka was going to be a one-term president. He does not intend on running again. He has already won the elections. His man is vice president. If Joseph Boyka does nothing else for him, then Joseph Boyka does nothing else for him. And we just go from there. So that's what that is my expectation. That there will be smarter people around Joseph Boyka that will help steer him clear of that. And there might be issues with Prince Johnson. Prince Johnson might talk a little bit like he always does, and there will be some fallout. And then the country will move forward from there. But do I think that Joseph Boyka will allow him and his administration to fall out of place with the international community because of Prince Johnson? No, I don't think so. Right. I see Joseph Boyka comes across to me as somebody who doesn't really believe in alliances, who doesn't believe in trust, who doesn't believe in any one of those things. He can tell you something today, tomorrow he change his mind. That's how he comes across to me as. In the end, it is about him, Joseph Boyka, and what he can get across. And when he don't using you, he has no qualms pushing you aside. And that includes Prince Johnson. And now that he's being elected president, if Prince Johnson behave himself, I see Joseph Boyka having no issue pushing him aside. He pushed aside, he pushed Costa aside, he pushed Youngly aside from being all those things. I don't think he's going to change now. That's his nature. That's who he is. I think that's what's going to happen.
Great. Mr. Aliyu Kamara.
Yes, sir.
A few years ago, we were here when you were celebrating the sanction of McGill and Serena Cephas. Everybody was going around that if they indict an administrator, your confidant, that means they are saying something directly to you. And the act said that those who do business with these folks themselves will be dealt with. And you, the opposition, were all celebrating it. Now you have a sanctioned person in your camp. Are you concerned with all the demands that Mr. Johnson, Prince Johnson, is making? It will have some negative impact, distraction on the incoming administration.
Well, two things here first. At no time did I celebrate sanction against any Liberian by an extended force.
Oh Lord!
I don't think it's necessary for people in Liberia to be worried about another country putting sanction on individuals in another country. I think we are at a stage now in this world where people must honestly own their freedom. They must honestly own their rights. You cannot say a country is free, but another president can sit in his country and sanction another country's government officials, and the people of that country should be worried. Now, I want you to pay attention to certain things, Mr. Gilman. Mr. Gilman, you need to pay attention to the everyday Liberian people. Listen to them. Don't listen to their voices, listen to their action. They are telling you that they are serving people, whether or not anybody believes it. When this thing was going on about sanction against McGill, what did Magibi say to you? Magibi told you that sanction was not from Liberia. They were not going to honor it. Grandmaster said the same thing to you. So you have to pay attention to the people of Liberia. I'm not condoning corruption. I'm not condoning any act of corruption because it sets the nation back. But my thing is that if you can sanction somebody in their own country, then you can't give another country $14 billion to bomb the hell out of 15,000 people. But let me just say this. You said that, what was your question about Prince Johnson again? Because this Prince Johnson thing, you didn't have any issue with Prince Johnson when Prince Johnson supported the CDC.
Mr. Kamara, I'm talking about now, because the last time, when we were talking that the early government left a lot of problems, you said you got it now, you want it now, fix it. So I'm saying to you, on the front pages of all the newspaper in Liberia, Prince Johnson is making demands. He says he
What
needs.
are the demands Prince Johnson making besides the things you hear on the air? Let me say this before we make this too long because other people have to comment. This question is very, very short. If up to now you have not understood Joe Boakai, then maybe you too much cover with a partisan cap. Joe Boakai is an action man. He's not the plenty talking guy. If you don't want to believe it, ask Ellen Johnson Sirleaf when he decided to kick her out of the Unity Party with all her power. Ask Benina Yere, go to them, talk to them, ask them about Joseph Boakai. Go to even the Amara Konneh today that is with Joseph Boakai. Ask him, who is Joseph Boakai? You know what they passed through. You don't know Joe Boakai. So you keep on with the whole Prince Johnson thing. Prince Johnson get power. Prince Johnson can do this. Wait, that national anthem is blown, and that Liberian flag behind Joe Boakai. That's how you would know. I'll just leave it right there.
Mr. Morris, Mr. Kamara just made it clear that it's all about Joseph Boakai.
That's not what I said.
When Joseph Boakai get his aim accomplished, he had no problem pushing anybody. He kicked Ellen Johnson out of the party when he didn't need her. He just said it. He just made it here on national.
That's not what I said.
You just said it now.
I didn't think you didn't need her. This and that. Don't add anything to what I said.
No, you said he kicked her out of the party, right?
Yes.
He kicked her out of the party when he no longer needed her.
That's
so
not what I didn't add that to it.
Now here we are, Mr. Morris. If based on, for the first time, I have to agree with Mr. Kamara here. Mr. Joseph Boakai has a long track record of kicking people out of his staff after he accomplished his aim. He made Yuri spend all his money babysitting him, flying him all over the world. When he kicked him out. When Cummings was the darling of the CPP, when they were fighting the Dara Dillon war, they needed money, he did that. You name it, everybody that came along down to the coaster, he kicked them out of the way. So what's the difference now between these guys and Prince Johnson? He's president already. There's nothing you can do to change that. Prince Johnson can do absolutely nothing. And Kamar may have a point here. There's nothing Prince Johnson can do but just complain.
Right. And that's why I always appreciated President Weah in the way that he handled Prince Johnson. Look, the price that George Weah paid for Prince Johnson is very low. Compare that to what Boakai paid for Prince Johnson's support. Prince Johnson has his man as the vice president. Prince Johnson is requesting about 20 positions. In actuality, he's probably only going to get maybe 5 of those. And he wants them in some key areas. He wants the Ministry of Defense. And he wants the telecommunications. He wants LEC. Strategic positions in our country that has to do with national security. And that's where I think it's important for us to see which of those positions will be given to Nibadians. And presumably, those will be people who Prince Johnson approve of. But Prince Johnson has, the hope that in theory, if they would have agreed to this collaboration, that Jeremiah Cohn would have a more inclusive and active role as vice president. That's why he, on that leaked recording when he said the man is old, if one of your own go there, and now he will be running the thing, and now he will be running things. That's that is Prince Johnson hope, and perhaps that's what Boakai and Boakai's handlers told Prince Johnson that look, getting this vice president position for one of your partisans or somebody from your party will almost be like a co-president, role where he will be doing a lot of the day-to-day work. The old man will be there to make the decision, or he will be traveling. And Prince Johnson probably was, enamored by that and thought that would be a good thing for him. But I think, like you said, once Joe Boakai get into office, as Mr. Kamara was alluding to, he's going to be cutthroat. He's going to, his people, especially those guys who are around him, they're not going to be stupid and say, oh, this is a NIMBA, LOFA, collaborative government where we'll share everything equal share. More than likely, the people from LOFA are going to dominate this government. They're going to have, access to Joe Boakai and restrict that access to Boakai. And at the end of the day, Prince Johnson will be frustrated. But what can he do about it? Nothing. Joe Boyka is not running for re-elections. He can't threaten Joe Boyka with taking away the power from him. And secondly, Jeremiah Kuhn is there. So if anything, if Joe Boyka leave after 6 years, then you have to deal with Jeremiah Kuhn, running for president on his own if he thinks he can win. But then maybe if there's a rift between the two people, the president and vice president, Lofa is not going to be on his side. So you're going to have a lot of, people say Prince Johnson is a strategist, and we wait to see how things play out. Maybe this will be a beautiful political marriage, and at the end of the day, everybody is going to benefit handsomely. Prince Johnson will be in a better position. But I'm saying this to our country as a whole. You know, some people know my standings and how I feel about Prince Johnson, but that's my personal sentiments. And that maybe the entire country or the majority of the country don't share those same sentiments that I share. But those key positions that Prince Johnson wants should not be given to him for national security purposes. Because one of the things that you saw that Prince Johnson was bragging about, I don't know if you guys saw that clip. He was talking about the Army Chief of Staff, Prince C. Johnson, who he said was told to rig the election and to deploy the army, or he listened to him and he didn't do it. And since he's a son of Nimba, the people of Nimba thank him. That's how Prince Johnson is looking at things. If there's ever a time where Prince Johnson is going to be held accountable, those people in those key positions, he's going to use them to his advantage to escape justice, to escape prosecution, and so on. So I think Boycott, knowing what he knows, he's not going to give Prince Johnson those key political positions or even key, national security positions. He wanted the NSA as well, the Defense Ministry, the NSA, our telecommunication service, our electricity service. Those are so important to a nation. Anybody who have control of those things, if something happens in the country, they can shut down the entire country. So Prince Johnson should not have his hands on those things. And just as a prime example, when he was in the Senate on the Security Council or the Security Committee, the United States, refused to work with him because they know people like that, you can't give them sensitive national security information, especially when you're talking bilateral, sharing of information. Prince Johnson can use that to his advantage if he wants to, evade, prosecution or accountability. If he's in such a powerful position where information and intelligence is being shared, he can use that to his advantage. That's why some of us didn't want Prince Johnson to be in this position. But kudos to him. He danced, Boycott danced for him, and now they're in power. But I would just applaud President Weah again for what he did when it came to Prince Johnson. Prince Johnson was complaining that Joe Weah kept him at a distance, only gave him one position in the government. Not that it was about the people of Nimba, but it was about what he wanted. And President Weah was smart enough to keep him at an arm's length. And hopefully Boycott will do the same thing because really he has nothing to lose. It will not be a George Weah part two because more than likely he's not going to be running for re-election where the entire people of Nimba will vote against him. And either way, it won't happen because Jeremiah Kuhn is going to be there. If Prince Johnson is going to say, God forbid Boycott wants to run for a second term, don't vote for Boycott. Vote for somebody else, even though Jeremiah Kuhn is his vice president. Or is he going to run, against Boycott with Jeremiah Kuhn, which I don't think Jeremiah Kuhn can win national elections by himself. So he's in a tight spot. Hopefully Boycott doesn't capitulate. He stands his ground. Give Prince Johnson about 5 positions that is not, national security, that doesn't have national security implications. And I think everything will be fine. Outside of that.
Let me interject 1 minute if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Again, I'm speaking from the perspective that I know Joseph Boyka as a person, not as a United Party partisan. I'm a registered member of the CDC. I just want you to know this before I make this statement. The Joseph Boyka that I have known through my grandfather over the years, Joseph Boyka will not get one job to MDR because Prince Johnson says so. Mark that.
Oh well, that's a. Oh my gosh, I don't even know how to respond to that question because the reality is this is a collaboration. This is one of the things that people was coming against CDC for.
Johnson says so. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he will not get job to MDR. I say he will not get job to MDR just because Prince Johnson says so. That's what I want you to remember.
What leads you to believe that, Mr. Kamara? If you would take more of my time to answer that question, what leads you to believe that?
Because this is somebody I know, follow his track record. Ellen Johnson said it to him, if you want me to support you, you got to pull a Chad Bronsky as a vice president. He said to Ellen Johnson, "Say, look, man, I respect you and all, but I would choose my own vice president."
Thank you. Good point. You just made my point right there. You just absolutely made my point. You think when Prince Johnson, when JMP went to Prince Johnson for his support, Prince Johnson, they didn't recommend his vice president that he has today as vice president elect?
But then Prince Johnson already got what he wanted. That's what I'm telling you.
No,
Based
but
on
you
that,
say you no. Just the fact to get his support.
okay,
Prince Johnson demanded that Jeremiah
back.
Cohen.
Now, talking
Okay,
about
No,
vice
hold
president.
on, now.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Let me get my last 10 seconds and then pass it,
Let
pass the mic.
let me last
Just
back
to gain his support, he gave him the vice presidential slot. And outside of that, Prince Johnson also won some more political slots that I'm sure was made in agreement. Prince Johnson learned from his mistake with George Weah. So if Joe Boyka reneged on those agreements, then you will have Prince Johnson, coming after him in the media and so on and so forth. But definitely, you just defeated your own point by saying that nobody picked Joe Boyka, vice president for him. But in fact, in this elections, Prince Johnson put forth Jeremiah Cohen. Joe Boyka accepted in return for his support. So that's the point I'm making. I'll hand it back to you, Mr. Gibb.
Great. Let's go back to Mr. Our last point. Let's go back to Mr. Eastman here real quick. Mr. Eastman, we are talking about the speakership in the House. We're talking about the House, now the most powerful position in the country besides the presidency. The speakership. There is a fight going on now in the lower house or in the country. Well, it's not a lower house because they are all equal anyway. We are talking about the speakership, being Speaker of the House. And we have here the Deputy Speaker, powerful Fonati Kofa. We have the powerful T5, Thomas Fala. We have the incoming self-proclaimed giant from the CPP. That's Musa Bility. We got all of these people coming along. What do you see? This new government, where the incoming administration in the electoral process won very few seats, very, very nominal. And the majority of the seats were given to the CDC in the Senate and in the House. How does this play out? I'm talking about the speakership now. We are talking about Fodati Kufa. We are talking about T5. We talk about Musa Ability. How does this play out?
Wow, that's a good question. When we look at the composition of the legislature, I think we will clearly see that the CDC has a majority. So that may play into who will get the votes. The CDC caucus may go to work and decide either to carry Fala or to carry Fanati Kofa. I think there's going to be a lot of lobbying and discussions going on around who will be. I think it will be good that we have somebody in the opposition for a balance of power. I would like to see that. And people have raised concerns to me that some of our people who have ascended to state power in the legislature there have records of criminal records in other places. And so how do we find them trustworthy? Well, that ship has sailed. Anytime if Liberian people will know that somebody is sanctioned and vote for them, if Liberian people will know that somebody has a record and vote for them, then what? That's Liberian people. You get what you deserve. So it looks like I would think that Kofa has a clear advantage, in my opinion, because he's been at the helm. I think he was vice or deputy speaker of the House. So I think he has a clear advantage. He's a man of means, and he's been in there. He's been a character that's kind of talks with everyone in the legislature, because now it's only the legislatures that are going to be voting. So I see him emerging as the speaker if he doesn't then it will be a real new and different change within the legislature. But if things remain as they are, I clearly see Funati will be the next Speaker of the House.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Patmore. Real quick, we're running out of time here. We
Yes,
we have the dynamic Deputy Speaker Funati Kofa. In fact, when he came back from the South, he was able to have 30 of the legislators meeting him and pledging their support. So out of 73, he got 30 already that have committed without even lobbying. Where do you see this going for T5, for Musa Ability and Funati?
Look, I'll be totally blunt with you. This position is Musa Ability if he wants it.
What?
This position is Musa Ability if he wants it. That's what I said, loud and clear. Musa Ability is the only person over there. Look, if you put up Funati in Thomas Fala, they're the same vote. At the same vote, the same camp. There's nothing going to change over there. Nobody from the opposition is going to vote for Funati. Nobody from the opposition is going to vote for Thomas Fala. That's just plain. So the only thing going to be depending on the CDC vote. That's it. Musa Ability is the only person that can walk the fine line between the two of them. He's the only one. He can garner CDC votes. He can garner opposition votes. And so, like I said, one thing I've learned about Musa Ability, if he wanted it, nobody will convince him to take it. It's something that he has to want. And so far, I haven't seen him express that. I think other people are trying to urge him to take that position. But if he decides he wants it, I don't see anybody else who can defeat Musa Ability. Musa Ability is the ultimate politician. This guy, people don't understand this guy. Look, Musa Ability is friends with everybody. Musa Ability gets along with everybody. Musa Ability can talk to everybody. Even when the two sides are fighting, Musa Ability can talk to both people. That's his character right there. That is one of the things. He's a businessman, and he understands networking. Musa Ability understands networking, and he understands that in the house, that's what's going to take for you to assume leadership. That's what's going to take for you to get things across.
Mr. Palmer, if I can just push back on you for a second. You know, when you talk about what Musa Ability understands, one of the things that he doesn't fully understand is how to be a representative, let alone to be Speaker of the House of Representatives. He's a freshman congressman, so to speak, or freshman representative. So how is he going to lead the House when he doesn't have any experience in the House itself? So for you to say that if he wants it, it's his to lose, I think that's off point, because for Nati Kofa, at least, he knows the ins and outs. He's been there as an apprentice, as a deputy to former Speaker Chambers. He knows the job very well. So in terms of qualification and competency, in terms of who understands the job, definitely Funati Kofa would be the most ready to usurp Beaufort Chambers' responsibilities. So Musa Ability don't even know how to be a representative yet. He hasn't even read the handbook on how to conduct himself, what is the code of conduct. So how can you just jump all the way to speakership? I don't see that happening.
So
unless you're implying that he's going to bribe everybody because he has the biggest pocket. Maybe that.
I know I use that word bribe. I will say this: Musa Ability is a consummate diplomat. He's a consummate networking person, and those are some of the strengths that you have in there. Okay. The second thing is that Funati Kofa was too close to the last administration. Funati Kofa was too close to too many questionable things that happened in the last administration. Okay? And right now you hear people talking about audits, especially auditing the House. Nobody wants to put Funati Kofa as Speaker so that he can block those audits. Nobody wants to put him as Speaker so he can block investigations.
So this is about character in terms of character. You're comparing character with Musa Belete and Funati Kofa. They're both in the same league in terms of
No, they're
character.
not.
So
No, they're not, sir. No, they're not. Konati Kofa was tried and convicted of fraud.
What's about Musa Belete?
Musa Belete was never tried in any court and convicted of anything.
Listen, the FIFA convicted
FIFA
him.
court.
Okay, we understand that. We understand that.
The land rights money, the gas tax.
Let's go to Mr. Go ahead. Let's go to Mr. After we are doing real quick. We talk about the speakership here.
Yeah, before I can comment on the speakership, I want to comment on the Prince Johnson factor on the boycott government. Let's be factual here. Boycott will be boycott. Prince Johnson will have no push on boycott at all. Boycott has his own circle and then the UP circle. Boycott has JKK as his vice president, and JKK has his own circle and then the MDR circle. With Prince Johnson being accused, definitely nobody wants to have Prince Johnson closer to him in the executive. He is already senator. He's going to stay right where he is, and he's going to push for whatsoever he wants to push for. But he will not get it. If he would get something, probably he'll get 1 or 2 jobs. But JKK will be the person who's going to be bringing Prince Johnson down. I'm sorry to say this. If Tiawan Gongolo is named a justice minister, Prince Johnson end his end to the senatorialship and be running around over there is finished. Then let's go to the speakership. We talk about experience is the best teacher. At this moment, as we stand, all right, I think the House will benefit a whole lot from Funati Kofa. The brother is a veteran. The brother served in the Salif government where Joseph Boyka served before as vice president. He did extremely well when he was serving before even crossing over to the CDC. So he can reach across all of the aisles that you can think about. The CDC and the UP, those who ran on even Liberty Party ticket or whatsoever ticket they ran on, the CPP ticket, he can reach out to them. He is a seasoned legislator and he will get the job done. Now, what Boyka's government needs is a seasoned legislator or speaker who are going to work closely with him to get things done in the national legislature. And that person that can do it for him will be Speaker Funati Kofa.
If I may ask
Thank
a
you.
question, how will you do that with all of the accusations
ladies and gentlemen,
let's take some calls, please.
No, ladies and gentlemen, we have gone over our time here. Let's do 1 minute of closing. This is why we got to start on time, gentlemen. We can't be here. We got another show after. Mr. Kamara, your closing argument, please.
Okay.
1 minute.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, because I keep on muting myself. Every time you mute me, don't try that stuff.
You got a baby walking in the background talking. We got to mute you. Go ahead.
No. I thought we had actually made it for me tonight. You know, I mean, even being a citizen, he see the truth and he speaks the truth. That is what it is. When my young brother ever said, "Oh, you want to compare what happened during the times of Ellen and what happened during the this going campaign," that he doesn't understand. Joseph Boyka chose Jeremiah Cohn because Joseph Boyka knew it would have helped him win. Forget about whether Prince Johnson was in it or not. You may think it was because of Prince Johnson. As far as Joseph Boyka was concerned, it was Joseph Boyka's interest that he was seeking. Joseph Boyka had Yombly, he had other people. Even though he and Yombly were so close, he knew that relationship was going to really be troubled by that decision. He took that decision, not because of Prince Johnson's influence, don't be misled, because he knew he could have capitalized on that decision. That's why he took that decision. Look, the whatever is happening in the House today, I will still come back to it before I put that in my closing statement. Listen, there are 2 guys over there that I'm afraid of, but I can settle for one. I can settle for Kofa. Musa Belede should not even have been elected as a legislature. He should not even have been there.
Kofa also, but Kofa is there. Now, if we weigh the two, the lesser of the two evil, like Brent people always say, I would prefer Kofa. Kofa is better educated. Kofa better understands the issues, the constitution, the law. Kofa has a better temperament. Kofa has a better character than Musa. Musa is a rainbow character. He gets over there, that whole parliament is going to get destroyed. Okay? Yeah, he's a complicit female, like we say. So making Musa a speaker of the house, he destroyed the entire government. He will fight the president. He will fight the Senate pro tem. He will fight the chief justice. It will be a whole battle in there. You understand what I'm saying? So the safest pick among those people over there would be a man called Richard Cohn. He has no tinted record compared to these two. But
a man called who?
Richard Cohn.
Where is he from?
Oh, they've been in the house there. You don't know him. So this
no. Where's he representing? I just want to know. I haven't heard about it.
I think it's District 11. District 11.
Nima man, right?
No.
All right, he should be from the Banana Bay area. Now this man is sober. He's a veteran. He's a calm, nice gentleman. And I will not take too much from Fenati, but Fenati has a criminal history, and the world knows it. So we don't want to have a speaker that have these kinds of stigma. But listen, I enjoyed this show tonight. It was cool. I really did enjoy it. And Mr. Weado, I hope you become a consistent panelist so that at least I can be free from Mr. Gilman sometimes.
Now only today, Weado, no matter me.
This man that Jota Burger, the day you move from behind, he caught you.
But he was not supporting Burger, he was just speaking the truth, right?
Mr. Doe, 1 minute, please, guys. Let's keep it at 1 minute. Go ahead, Mr. Doe, you're closing. Mr. Doe?
Yeah, thank you so much. I think the show was good, even though my phone was just going in and out. Yeah, you hear me? Yeah, I think the show was good. My phone was going in and out. Yeah, I think the show was good. My phone was going in and out, but I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed all of the panelists here. Our contribution was very germane towards the nationalism of our country. And I pray that the transition is going to go on smoothly. And I hope and pray also that Weka will have a spokesman for his government, then everybody in the government talking, because you want somebody who will talk for the government. You don't want for the party to be speaking for the government. At the same time, the government has its own spokesman and you get information minister or whatever. You don't want to complicate a lot of things in your government. You want to get somebody. Prince Joseph is going to be staying far away from the government. He's a senator. He will play his role as senator. JKK will bring him down and hold his feet. Weka, I think let's leave it with Weka and let the people see Weka bringing and delivering the bread and butter issue for them. Thank you so much, Mr. Gamer, for having me on the show.
Thank you for your 1 minute. Mr. Murray, let's do it. 1 minute.
Yeah, thank you. Great to be on the show, even though I came late. I wasn't feeling too well. Still not too well. Quickly, I want to give a couple of shout outs. I want to give a shout out to Gabe Amo, who is Ghanaian Liberian. I think maybe the first of Liberian descent to be elected to the U.S. House of Representatives from Rhode Island. His mother is a Liberian. His father is a Ghanaian. His name is Gabe Amo. So shout out to him. And then shout out to the brother from who did the flight. I think his last name is Yonle. Mm-hmm. I think he accomplished something on the
Abner Yonle, yes.
Yeah, Yonle. So shout out to those two brothers for making history and making Liberians proud. Well, look, we're all looking forward to this government. I think it's easier to have, hindsight, because when you see some of the mistakes that your predecessor made, you can look at it and try to, rectify it in your administration. So we're all looking forward to see some of the things that Joseph Boyka is going to do, because these are going to be easy things that he can do in terms of inclusion, having a more balanced government. That's something that the Liberian people complain against President Weah about, And then the harder things, the economic, tackling the economic issues of our country is going to be more difficult, and we understand that. And I'm going to be fair here. I will not be fair to the people who are criticizing George Weah for not, putting this country on a better, economic trajectory. When Joseph Boyka come there and they try to find excuses, The man put the country about 10 years. How you expect this boy gotta do? We gotta come in the whole way for him before we can even move forward. We're not gonna take that, that excuse. You say you can do the job, come there and do the job. If you're not doing it, we're gonna criticize you, and rightfully so. Thank you for having me on. I'll turn it back to you.
Good. Mr. Padmore, 1 minute, please.
Man, all right. So we talking on it tonight.
Yes.
So
I can't talk all. Just talk your
and then man, I'm gonna be talk up. So I will speak towards the last thing, and because I saw some blowback from it. Look, let me tell you something. Okay, the House of Representatives over the last 18 years has been very corrupt. Most Liberians understand now that majority of the Liberian poor problem coming from the House of Representatives. It's not necessarily coming from the presidency. If we can switch up the House of Representatives, if we can bring true leadership, accountability, transparency to the House of Representatives, Liberia will finally get on the road towards some sort of normalcy, positivity, development, and progress. Okay? For us to see Bufa Chimos leave by the hands of his own people and then replace him by his deputy, the men that know where all the bones are buried, the men that know how all the city happy. No, that will not be progress. That will not be a new dawn. That will not be change. It will almost be like you define a nation. When a nation said we don't want the same people, and majority of the people we left there, we didn't vote for them. And then you can't put a man there again? No. I'm not telling you guys that Musa Belete is the angel walking on water. Okay? I'm only looking at his strength and him as a human being, how he conducts himself. And it was from that point against the other three people. Thomas Fala, nobody's going to vote for Thomas Fala. Okay? It's going to be very difficult.
You'll be surprised.
Huh? It will be very difficult. One of the point of vote for Thomas Fala. It will be very difficult for Funati. Okay, not impossible, but be very difficult for Funati. So we left with Kun, and we left with Musa. And Musa has greater advantage over Kun, district number 11 representative. That's where I come from. But besides that, thank you guys so much. We'll be waiting to see what the boycott government will do. We're waiting for them to turn Morea into Miami. And if it doesn't happen, we'll all hold our feet to the fire. I think that is where we are right now. This is not about hate. This is not about not being able to get over the elections. This is about being a patriotic Liberian and being able to question the government, whether you are for the government or not. Being able to question your government, it should be the most patriotic thing that you can do. And that's what we will continue to do, and me getting all the other name calling and stuff like that. But thank you guys so much. And I will be here next week, and we'll discuss it from there.
Thank you. Mr. Eastman.
And I will be brief because time is well spent. In a country where impunity exists, where you can commit a crime, you can be sanctioned, you can do anything, and you're still electing, nothing happens to you, then we can only say that whoever comes up would just be the best friend to the process, to the policy. Who knows how to play ball? So anyone who knows how to play that ball, that you can get away with doing anything, those are the people who will be dominant. And so we will see much more once this cabinet has been named. I think that's when we'll begin into this prophecy. I'm prophesying that whoever knows how to play that criminal game will be on top. It will come to light after the cabinet has been named.
Great. We have to say a prayer for our brothers and sisters across the border. We want Sierra Leone to be calm. We want our region to be calm. We are hearing good news from Liberia. We are proud of our country. We are proud of where we are going, where we are leading the country, where we are leading our sub-region, where we are leading Africa as a whole. To be undercut by, hold on 1 minute. Hello. Hello. Yeah, your name and where you calling from? Real quick.
Put on speaker low, yeah, the person.
Okay, hold on a minute. Yeah, your name and where you calling from?
Mr. Gilman, Jerome Gilman, this is Wild Michael Gilman.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Gilman.
And I'm calling from the nation's capital, Monrovia.
Great, go ahead.
Thank you. I have been following behind the scene on your conversation tonight. And on the issue of who becomes Speaker or President Pro Tem of the Liberian legislature, especially the position of Speaker or Deputy Speaker. And I want your colleagues and the Liberian people following you tonight to know that the CDC does have a majority representative in the House. Whether they are seditions or CDC to their name or independent, we do have the majority. So for anyone like Patmo to suggest that a Funati Kofa, who knows where the bones were buried and all of those nonsense we talking about, should not be or cannot be Speaker, he does not understand the nitty-gritty of what is happening in this town or in this country. So he needs to recalibrate and rethink his thought process, because this country, the results tells it's a divided country, 50-50. 20,000 votes does not cut it. We're going to see a divided government. We're going to see the executive managed by Joseph Boakai, and the first branch of government, the legislature, managed by CDC. All right? You can take that to whichever bank you want.
What number majority that CDC has? Ask that human being.
Oh my man, let's be cordial on the platform.
You said you had a man call me?
Yeah, I know both of you.
I didn't say you're not a human being. I said the nonsense you talk about.
Okay, Michael Gilman. What is the number of CDC representatives?
30. I think they're in the 30.
No, not 30.
Now, why you should
no, they're not 30.
Before, when you got not certain?
They're not 30. There's not 30.
He's mentioning official seditions and also independent who are voting with the CDCs or the CDC.
Right. It's over 30.
Oh my God.
You can put it at almost 40.
That is not true. But that's neither here nor there. Finish up, Chief. Finish up.
Okay.
When the show coming on?
Try it. When you coming back in town?
Mr. Eastman, try it.
Why I say let it try it, somebody gets there with me and say I'm calling for violence. So let it try
Mr. Eastman, try it.
Try it.
I'm coming back very soon. I miss my fans and everybody that follow GHT, but I'm coming back very soon. There's nothing holding me here. It's just the time. But I'm coming back, and we're coming back strong. The Triple D department.
You gotta dig deeper and deeper and deeper on the Boakai administration, Mr. Gilman. Waiting for you so you can dig really deep.
Oh my man, let's go on, man. Let's dig it.
All right, man, Mr. Gilman, that ain't a show.
Let's hear it from you.
On a serious note, before I leave you, on a serious note, CDC is going to control the legislature. Okay? Yeah, that's what it is. That's what training in this town. CDC is going to control the legislature. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. We have overstayed our stuff here, so they kicked us out. We pray for 7 Leon. That's all.
We all have